Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our DESTINI Estimator versus Microsoft Excel webinar. My name is Nazmeli Garcia. I'm a marketing specialist here at Beck Technology, and I'll be your moderator today. I'm accompanied by Head of Sales, Chris Torbert. We're really excited to highlight the differences between Estimator and Microsoft Excel for pre-construction estimating in this webinar. I do want to encourage all of our viewers to ask questions as they come up on the questions panel on your screen. We'll do our best to address as many questions towards the end of the webinar. But if we are unable to address your question, we'll follow up with you afterwards. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Chris. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Naz. Well, good morning, everybody. I appreciate you joining us, and I am extremely excited to spend a little time with you this morning and chat through an interesting topic, one that I find super interesting, and it seems to be a conversation I'm having daily, almost across the country with various groups of all shapes and sizes. And that is, groups that are using Excel and that are looking at ways to improve their process and their business. And so I guess I want to start out by saying, we recognize that Excel is the most common tool that people are in the world, really, that people are using for estimating. And so we do recognize that there are some powerful traits that Excel has, and that we've actually embraced in our platform, and we can talk on those a little bit. So this is no way an anti-Excel meeting. This is really how can we take the best of both worlds, right? How can we take the things that Excel does really well, but also how can we address some of the areas where it falls short? And that's what we're going to spend some time on this morning. But a little bit, before we dive in, a little bit about Beck Technology. I'm sure some of you out there are familiar with us, and I'm sure there's some of you out there that have no idea who we are, and you just received an email and decided to join, and for that we're thankful. But so just high level, real quick, Beck Technology has been around for a long time, been around since '96 technically, and we've done a lot of really interesting things, but our mission, right, is to leverage technology to make better decisions earlier on in the life cycle of a project. And our focus is pre-con technology. And we actually, back in 2012, were approached by one of our customers, and they said, hey, we want to make a switch of our estimating platform, but we have surveyed the market, and there's just nothing that gets us excited and nothing truly compelling to make us make a switch. And so they said, hey, we like you guys. We like one of our previous products. They said, would you work with us and build an estimating platform? And so that is how we got into the estimating business, is a customer approached us, and we developed that with them, with an estimator's workflow in mind. And so that's how we got to where we are today. We've had a ton of success since, but the platform has evolved, right? And so what I want to do is just kind of high level familiarize you all with what we do and where we're at before we start talking about the differences. And so really we went from this estimating platform in its infancy stage to truly building out a single integrated pre-construction platform. And you can see here this pinwheel, and shows all the different capabilities that are innate, that are built in natively to our pre-con platform, DESTINI Estimator. And so you can see that there's a lot of different components, and each one of these components have been shaped with and by users, right? So all of our users are helping us make the product better and better, and that is how we have developed out all these additional features. One thing that's really powerful is, because we have all of this in one platform, and because there's different things happening at each project milestone, and each different facet, whether it's takeoff, estimating, reporting, conceptual estimating, you name it, right? There's all these really valuable data points, and we have coined this term pre-construction data lifecycle because we believe that you have really, really smart people doing really great work. And if we have a platform that can harvest all of this data and present that back to you in a really meaningful way, it allows everyone really at your company to make better informed decisions. And so that is something that is really, really important to us. And it's not just pre-con, it's business development, it's executives, it's self-perform groups, right? There's all these valuable data points that we're collecting that are part of that pre-construction data lifecycle. And so when we start to look at what is DESTINI Estimator and how does it compare to estimating in Excel, I think that data conversation is really at the forefront of almost everyone's minds, right? So when we talk to Excel groups, and really any groups, but everyone is, hey, we are struggling to effectively capture this rich data, and whenever we need it, it's hard to go leverage that and use it in a meaningful way. And so there's a couple of examples of that, right? When people get calls from owners and they say, hey, I'm thinking about building such and such project, right? And here's some high-level metrics. I'm going to a meeting. What can you help me understand what that's going to cost? And the process to go in and find old projects, or to call so-and-so and say, hey, what did you do on this last project, right? That doesn't always work for what the owner needs, and it doesn't always provide you with enough data to make a really well-informed decision in a timely manner. So the ability to have Estimator capture all of this, right, by project type and by hundreds of different variables, allow you to drill in and present that data to you so you can provide that service back to your owner, is something that every single group we talk to wants, and that is a challenge with their current workflow. Yes, you can save Excel files, and yes, you can maybe list projects in an Excel file to get some high-level data, but that richness is missing. The ability to search and narrow down really effectively is missing. Another thing where data comes in really, really handy is that gut checking of an estimate, right? I've got a $150 million project that I'm going to turn in. Man, I really wish I had this data at my fingertips to go search and break this thing down and compare it to past projects like instantly, right? And in a powerful way. And so whether it's conceptual estimating, whether it's gut checking an estimate, or even the ability to use that data to attract a new owner, capturing and leveraging that data is at the forefront of almost every group's mind, and it's arguably one of the top challenges we hear with groups that are estimating with Excel. So lots of conversation we could probably dive into around data, but I think for the purpose of this, I think that sums it up. I would say that the second biggest thing that we are seeing across the industry in general is this concept of owners are becoming more and more demanding, right? They have higher expectations, and they want more and more and more, but they want it in less and less time, right? And so there's a lot of areas where that comes into play, but a simple example that we hear, it seems like every Excel group we talk to, is this ability to, hey, an owner starts out one way, and then halfway through the project they want to see things completely different, or they need it tomorrow. And a lot of the Excel groups that we talk to say, as long as they know from the beginning, it's pretty easy to respond to that. But if they get thrown something halfway through or towards the end, or looking at it in a different way than what they started with, it can take some Excel gymnastics to essentially rebuild that estimate, or to massage that estimate and present the data in a way that the owner wants. We've had groups literally tell us that it takes them over a week to respond to some of these owner requests in Excel, that in our platform it's literally a matter of minutes, and it's just because of the way that data is coded and the flexibility of our platform to rearrange that data in any which way. Another group that another side of that is not just the time, it's also the risk associated with those owner demands and having to shift things in Excel. We've had groups that have worked on really, really large projects with multiple phases and buildings, and flat out just missed buildings before, and has been very significant mistakes as it relates to reorganizing and restructuring your estimate within Excel. So that's just one example, right? But I think that theme in general of increasing owner demands with less and less time to turn things around is really, really important. That's actually why I think this next point is even more important, is having everything in one tool, right? We don't have Excel and then our takeoff platform and then another Excel sheet and then an owner bid form and then cost history, right? Everything is truly in one platform. And so when those owners have those increasing demands and those shorter and tighter deadlines, right, the all-in-one platform allows you to get rid of some of the manual transfer of data, right? It allows you to get rid of some of the things that people are doing, but they're not adding value back to that project, right? And so by having everything in one, having a tight integration and automating some of those low-value tasks, what happens is you have more time to pour into the project, more time for value engineering, more time to work with subs, right? And ultimately meet those increasing owner deadlines. And so we talked about capturing and leveraging data for a number of different reasons, right? The ability to massage your estimate and respond to those owner demands, and have everything in a true platform. And I would argue that if you can do all of those things, right? If you can capture data and leverage data, if you can have some automation, some tight integration that allows you to spend more time adding value to your project, that you would level up your company, right? You would be able to go attract more new owners by showing them the tools that you have, showing them the data that you have and how you can help them maximize their project, right? I would argue that you could win more projects, right, that you pursue because of the efficiency, because of the data, because of the ability to be super accurate, right? And then third, this is extremely important, right? As we talk to groups across the country, is we can do all of these things, we can start to make each job more profitable, right? We start to maximize each job in addition to attracting new owners and winning more work. So I'm sure there's some of you out there that are like, yes, who wouldn't want to win more work, and yes, who wouldn't want to capture data and do all these things we talked about. But I love the flexibility of Excel, and my executives are married to this specific Excel deliverable, and there's no way we could ever get away from some of those things. Well, the good news is we have embraced Excel in parts of our platform because we do recognize it's extremely powerful in some areas. And so what we have developed genuinely is this perfect balance and mix between the flexibility and the familiarity of Excel and the power of a truly integrated estimating platform with cost history. And so we've got the ability to take some of the things that you're using today. It's almost like a car, right? Same car, looks the same, but we're revamping the engine that drives it, and so it can go faster and further. So if any of that sounds interesting, would certainly love the opportunity to share what the platform looks like and walk through some specific workflows. But I think at this point, I would love to entertain some questions and see how I can help.
Awesome, thanks, Chris. Yes, like he mentioned, we're now in the Q&A section of our webinar. So we do have a couple of questions rolling in. Again, if we're unable to answer your question right now, we'll follow up with you after the webinar. So don't be shy. Drop some questions on the panel on your screen. Okay, so the first question we have is, do I have to change my deliverable if I move to DESTINI Estimator?
Great question. That's actually probably one of the most popular concerns or questions that we get, and the answer is certainly not. It's kind of what I was alluding to when people have these deliverables or have these reports that they are really comfortable with, their executives are really comfortable with, their owners are really comfortable with. And like I said, we've embraced parts of Excel in our platform, and one of those is the ability to leverage current deliverables, right, in the same exact format, right, and just have our estimate live link to the Excel deliverable to where it automatically populates, and that's extremely powerful. It also opens up a lot of other doors outside of just recreating your current report or deliverable. But yes, that is something we can certainly bring into the platform and continue to use.
Awesome. And I have another question here. Someone's asking, can I embed my owner bid forms in DESTINI Estimator?
Yes, yeah. So if for those situations where an owner gives you an Excel file and says, hey, I want your bid submitted in this, much like using any Excel deliverable, it'd be, let's bring that owner bid form into the platform, super basic, easy linking, and then you do your takeoff, do your estimate, and all flows automatically into that owner bid form.
Awesome. And I have one last question here. Can multiple people work on the same estimate at the same time?
Yes, yeah, great question. You totally can. So you can have an unlimited number of people in the platform in the same project at the same time. And there's lots of good workflows that we could chat through. But yes, it's a collaborative environment that everybody can be in at the same time.
Awesome. So it looks like we're going to end this webinar a bit early to give you guys a little bit of time back in your morning. So Chris, do you have any final thoughts before we end the webinar?
I would just say if any of the things that we talked about are interesting and you want to know more, like please reach out. We'll send some follow-up as well. But I think once you see the platform and see how we can embrace the parts that you love about Excel, but also really bolster other parts of the workflow, I think it'd be a great conversation and one that we would absolutely love to have with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. And I want to thank all of our viewers for attending the webinar today. Like he mentioned, there is going to be a recap sent to you afterwards, as well as some more information about DESTINI Estimator. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. See you guys.
Bye, everyone.